Yeah.
So make it important, yes, not.
An important yap. Okay.
You guys introduce yourself, blah, blah. You're good?
Oh, right now. Okay. Hi, I am Miss Morris. I am a guidance counselor here at Ocean High School. And this is my Mentor Monday. So I grew up in Monmouth County. I have an older brother and then a younger brother and a younger sister, so I'm in the middle. We're pretty close. I think we had all four of us under like 6 years old, so it was really busy growing up, but really fun. And we all kind of, as we grew up, had different stages, I think, of being close. It's like a funny dynamic between having, two brothers and one sister and our age gaps. But as we've continued to grow up, we've been very close now as all adults. So yeah, I grew up around here and was in a lot of activities as a child, did sports, played soccer, did ballet, and tried basketball for a day. But my parents encouraged us to do like different things and be involved. And so, swimming as well. I actually, that was my sport in high school. I went to Red Bank Catholic for high school, and I swam there. I swam for Monmouth Barracudas as a kid as well, and into high school, through high school. And I would say, like, I, in the end, enjoyed high school, but I don't think it was my favorite part of growing up totally. I went to St. James and then, went to the school right next door, and I think I kind of felt ready to, like, kind of be somewhere new and not be in the same place. I had a hard time, like, kind of branching out of my own comfort zone, though, at the same time. So it was kind of this push-pull thing I was struggling with. But later on in high school, realized that I'm the captain of my own ship, and that I was in control of my own happiness. So that mindset shift turned, I would say, the last like year and a half, 2 years of high school into a more positive experience. And I was able to branch out of those comfort zones, meet new people, start to become more social. I think that I was almost like painfully quiet, and it took a while to get out of my shell. So as I tried to push myself and challenge myself through that, I saw more positives and changes in other parts of my life too that then influenced my decisions moving forward of kind of how I'm here now. So yeah, and I swam for RBC in high school and really enjoyed it, and Barracudas too. That was where I met my best friends that I still have now. So then when I was preparing for the next step of high school, so when I was preparing for the next step after high school, I wanted to go somewhere different, far away. I did not like the snow. I wanted to go somewhere warm, but I also had this kind of thing that I would say, I was like, I've been eating in the same cafeteria since I was in kindergarten. I want to go somewhere completely unfamiliar, fully immerse myself, have it so that I have to really figure it out on my own. I was a independent student, good student in high school, and I knew I could, manage those parts, but kind of wanted to take it a step further, and I wanted to go to a big SEC school. So, went through the whole thing of touring schools and colleges, and wound up deciding being accepted and then deciding to go to Auburn University in Alabama. It was very big and a big change. I remember my mom being very nervous about it, but my dad and I had, kind of worked together on deciding and making that decision and assuring that, everything would be good and we'd figure it out. So as I, went to Auburn and started my freshman year, it was definitely I think maybe a bigger change than what I expected in terms of responsibilities and figuring things out. Had a good work ethic, but still was distracted quite often. And in reality, looking back on it now, when I was thinking of what to do as a career, I can't say that I actually had any idea. I toyed with the idea of education, with, art, and then even public relations, which is like kind of a journalism, communications, all-in-one type of thing. Ended up choosing public relations as my major, and again, didn't really take too much time to consider what my life would look like after college. Just was pretty much being present. So upon graduation, I took a couple jobs, but then realized that it wasn't really for me. I had a feeling before I graduated, but it was too late by then for me to turn around and be like, I have to change my major now. So I stuck with it though. I did try some things. One of my fallbacks was always that I lifeguard at Sandy Hook in the summer. So I started that in 2013 after I graduated high school and have been there since. And so I've been there now 13 summers, my 13th one. And it's definitely saved me from, staying in jobs that maybe I was unsatisfied with and, I had a fallback. And I think the nature of the job and working with, high school students, college students, adults, educators, fostered the idea of maybe education would be a good place for me. So it took me a while to kind of come up with the idea of becoming a guidance counselor, but I looked into, everything with teaching, but still was just like, I don't know what I'd even teach to begin with, but it was almost like a light bulb moment that I was like, I'm pretty good at this kind of life guidance, making decisions type of conversations with students and stuff. And so why don't I give guidance counselor a try? And at the time I was working, my full-time job was working at Sloan Kettering in Middletown. And so I was in healthcare, and I was, again, it was another thing I just tried out to see if I liked or not, and wasn't totally for me. So then about 2.5 years into being at Sloan Kettering, I enrolled at Monmouth University for their master's program and decided to be a guidance counselor and worked through the whole thing at MSK and did Monmouth. And it definitely took a little bit longer doing that process, but I knew that at that stage in the game, I was 25 and I had kind of already developed an independent, living and being on my own and having my own place and stuff. And so I wanted to maintain that. And in the end, it was well worth it. It took me, I think, maybe an extra 1.5 years. But during that process, I was luckily placed at Ocean High School as a guidance counselor, as an intern. And now I'm here. So I would say that program itself, Monmouth, I think also on top of learning all the things and the job and going into a program and knowing that you're going to, you know, love your major that you're in and focusing on that career, I think it also, you mature a lot through that process of having so many responsibilities and figuring things out. I think that those ages between like 25 and 28, I really grew up and kind of developed even more of a sense of independence and I would even say like patience. But yeah, that, and actually one thing that I didn't touch on with college that I think is super important, and I think is something that everyone says if they've done it, is I did study abroad for 5 weeks in Spain as a college student at Auburn, and I thought it was awesome, and it was a really great experience. It was one of those things where I actually wish I did a full semester, because I think that I definitely would have loved to spend more time. But as a grad student, the professional counseling program had sent an email about a transformational travel class through Monmouth that they offer, and they invited educational counseling students to tag along, you know, and take the class, and then it involved going to India for 2 weeks. And it was my last year of grad school, and I looked into the class and I thought it sounded awesome, just so neat, and had this philanthropic undertone to it that we were, you know, raising money for an orphanage that's in India, and the woman that runs the orphanage, she's from Monmouth County, and they live there in India. And so I reached out to the professor there and was able to take 4 classes instead of, they only allow you to take like 3 as a grad student. So I was able to get permission to do this, and it was one of the most amazing, beautiful, like incredible trips, class, journey that I think I've ever done. It was so cool, like just a humbling experience, I guess is how you'd describe it. And I think if I kind of let myself say like, oh no, like, you know, I can't do that. That would be too much. Or, and, you know, it was a lot to take on. There were parts that I was like doing, you know, 5 projects at once for all these different classes and trying to still manage like my own life, my social life. And I think if we kind of tell ourselves or give ourselves limitations, we don't realize what we're capable of. And I think that was like a really good example of kind of, yeah, like you're pushing the boundary of what you're able to do, and maybe it is stressing you out sometimes, but it's learning how to manage that, and also, you know, not being closed-minded to the things that are out there and the opportunities. But now I'm here, but it was definitely, you know, not to like kind of make it seem like it was that easy. It was tough. It was really tough. My like trying to decide all this and become a guidance counselor and figure out my career, and, you know, having those like angsty moments, it was difficult. And at times, like it felt like it wasn't going to ever become like that job, finding a job or a career that I loved wasn't ever going to be a thing. There was a long point in time where I thought that like lifeguarding was just going to be this great job, and then everything else was going to be awful. And I've kind of, you know, since then have realized that that doesn't have to be true. If you find something that you love that complements your skills and, you know, what you're looking for, even as like a lifestyle, I think that you can find the right fit for you. And no one has it figured out at graduation of high school, let alone college. You know, you are constantly trying to figure out, there's new things that you have to figure out every single time. You turn the corner, or a new age or something like that. And then, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of other things I could talk about, I guess. You know, relationships, navigating them. You want to find someone that enjoys what you enjoy and appreciates you for you. And I think that if you are finding that you're, you know, having to, I don't know, I guess, be someone you're not in a relationship, then it's not for you. I have a wonderful fiance who is great, and I don't know.
Now you want that, right up.
Yeah, you can. I don't want to cry.
Well, why would I cry? You're talking about your fiance?
I don't know. I just am.
You can't like him that much. No, you definitely do because he's fiance,
I don't like talking about stuff that's really personal.
but why are you crying? I feel bad.
Can you cut that out?
Yeah. The crying part? Nope.
What?
That has to stay in. Alright, here we go.
Yeah, I think that's good, right?